I'm T Love, and this is the Love Zone Podcast. I normally do not do a Sunday show, but I woke up today to the same news as everyone else has, that Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina passed away late last night unexpectedly. As a podcaster, I began to do what podcasters do. I started searching the web. No, I don't mean Facebook and Twitter, X, Google, none of that kind of stuff. I began to search the government.org channels and a few other private channels that I subscribe to get information. According to a police scanner audio, emergency personnel responded to a report of a person suffering from chest pains and cardiac arrest at Graham's Washington, D.C. home Saturday evening. There are some TMZ photos floating around of Graham being wheeled out of his home by paramedics on a gurney as well. The senator, according to his staff, was scheduled to appear on Meet the Press this morning. And there had been no indication by Graham that he had been feeling ill before his death. Graham had just arrived back in the country just hours before his death. The day before he died, Graham met with the Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in Ukraine, announcing the same day an agreement with the Trump administration to advance a package of Russian sanctions. So the best information I have is he was in Ukraine handling business, government business. Flew home. I saw a report where President Trump said he talked to him around 7 p.m. And then I guess this happened somewhere between 8 and 10. I'm not real sure. I don't have the exact timelines. What I do know is that my social media channels have been blowing up. And I've gone on and searched a couple of the, what I call the gossip stuff, the fake book, Twitters, things of that nature. Voters and supporters on the right are paying tribute to Senator Graham as being a true American patriot. Voters and supporters on the left are posting videos and memes of him sitting at the gates of hell. I've seen some of them sitting next to Mitch McConnell. That, ladies and gentlemen, lies my issue with America today. Once again, the American citizens are divided. Once again, Americans are showing they are not any different than the enemies we hunt down and destroy overseas. Once again, you see the love and support by one side mixed with the hate and detest of the other side of a man that neither side knew anything about other than what they see on a television screen. But once again, the politicians of America has its citizens divided. The very thing that is supposed to make America the best country in the world is making America fit in with all the other radical cultures of this world. For the record, I was not a fan of Senator Graham. Why? As an American, I can never be a fan of anyone who puts another country's interest and safety above that of the United States of America. Just to be clear, I was also not a fan of Dianne Feinstein, Jimmy Carter, or George H.W. Bush. But what I will not do is take to social media to bash a dead person's name and character. Why? They're not here to defend themselves, and to speak ill of the dead is disrespectful and ignorant. You can disagree with a dead person's policies, but to project eternal salvation or damnation is blasphemous, because only God sits that high. Today is just another shining example that Americans are morally bankrupt. The values, principles, and respect we once stood tall on is now being trampled all over by a bunch of mentally and emotionally unstable people from the right and the left. People who have to project poorly on others to make themselves feel better. People who have to call out the sins of others to cover up their own sins. People who have decided that following a donkey or an elephant is more important than following the flag of the United States of America. People who are hell-bent, bound, and determined to make us the divided states of America. From the politicians, to the judges, to the lawyers, to the business tycoons, to the religious clergy, and to the everyday citizens. You have become what you accuse so many foreign nations of being: evil. And that evil is running roughshod all through this land because of people like you. Matthew 7:1 from the good book emphasizes fairness and self-reflection before criticizing others. And I quote, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." If you don't like someone's policies, I have no problem with you arguing with those policies. We all can look at a person's character and how they conduct themselves and kind of tell whether or not they're Christian or not Christian, or some people are hypocrites at being a Christian. I want to take the Christianity out of it and just look at a person's character, whether they're good or bad. If you go on social media and you're hiding behind a keyboard to bash a politician or to bash someone that supports a politician, you're not a good person. You're evil. You are mentally and emotionally compromised. But that's the way the government wants you. That's why they sink so much money into the media, to brainwash you and create you that way. My statement that I make on my podcast so often is: stop being a Democrat, stop being a Republican, get back to being an American. Because I can assure you, those that think that this man was a saint, they think somebody on the other side is a devil. Those that think this man is a devil think that someone on the other side is a saint. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. The entire government is compromised and corrupt, and both sides are complicit in each other's compromisation and corruption. And for you to pick a side and think that your side is better than the other, and you may be better in some areas, don't get me wrong, but collectively in its totality, both sides suck. They both lie to you, they both steal your money, and they both stand in front of that television screen and point their fingers at the other side for doing exactly what they do. Anytime I see a politician like this die unexpectedly, I kind of got to wait for the rest of the story. It is what it is. To his family, friends, and loved ones, I pray you find peace and condolences with the loss of your loved ones, of your loved one and Senator Graham. Losing someone, whether you like them or not, hurts someone. Somebody out there is sad today because this person died. And you're morally bankrupt if you don't keep your mouth shut and your butt off social media and let this family, these friends, and these loved ones honor the person they love and respect the way you would want to honor your loved ones if someone died, if your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your child. Until I see you on the next episode, take care.